Kristen Brancaccio, I am so excited to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Leah.
And before we really start, I have to let the audience know you and I go way back. Our dads are college roommates. We grew up together. So I'm talking to my friend today, and I'm so excited about that.
This is a momentous occasion, and I cannot imagine how excited our dads are going to be when they see that we are here working together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are behind this incredible movie coming out just ahead of Easter called 47 Days with Jesus. Tell us about it.
So 47 Days with Jesus is about a disconnected family that finds unity and hope through the gospel. That's kind of the overarching storyline. It's a great Easter film. It's a beautiful story, I think, that is really relatable. What I love about this movie is it connects the Bible story, right, the story of Jesus's life, to our modern day. And it does it in a way that's really fun and entertaining while still treating, of course, the Bible story very reverently. And I cannot wait for people to see this movie.
We'll talk about the casting because you have some great people in this movie. You've got Cameron Arnett. You've got some of the stars of The Chosen. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the movie stars Yoshi Barrigas and Catherine Lidstone, who you might recognize from The Chosen, and they play a married couple that is on the rocks. The entire family is very disconnected. They're navigating Joseph, the character that Yoshi plays, is working too much. He's putting work before family. It's really driving a wedge in the family. And Catherine and Yoshi just have this like incredible chemistry, and you really believe and you really want to root for them as a couple. They do an amazing job. Working with Cameron Arnett, I think seeing Cameron Arnett as Pontius Pilate was a casting that I didn't know I wanted until we'd finalized the casting and realized, like, wow, we're going to get to see him embody this role that is unlike anything we've ever seen him do before. And he does an incredible job. Every scene that he is in is just so compelling. Cameron Arnett's an amazing actor to work with.
I mean, the whole thing is amazing. I got to screen the movie, and I think they just do such an incredible job. And one thing I love about your story is you grew up in, VBS, church plays, starring in those. You come from a music video background. Talk about how this informs the approach you took to 47 Days with Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you just said, I grew up going to Vacation Bible School. Some of my fondest memories are helping my mom, paint giant cardboard cutouts so that we, could have visual references for her lessons at Vacation Bible School. And the first time I ever stepped foot on a stage was in a church musical. And so having that background, I think I knew that there's a way to tell these Bible stories that can really connect to young people, to kids. And I mean, to anyone who's watching this interview, if you work with kids, if you're volunteering with your Vacation Bible School, I mean, that matters. And I can honestly say that I would not have jumped at the opportunity to do this movie if I didn't have the backstory that I do, the childhood that I do, the understanding that there's a way to tell these stories in a way that's really engaging and entertaining while still respectful. I really remember every Bible story from my childhood because I got to experience them. When you're engaging with the Bible in like a creative way, you're remembering things so much better. Those stories are sinking in, those themes are really sinking in. So I just hope that my life can really be an encouragement for anyone working with kids in the church. Like, what you do matters. And I'm here because of all the adults who poured into me throughout my childhood.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, that has been a big criticism of some faith-based movies is that they are not reverent. They're not biblically accurate. They take too many liberties with the storyline. Talk about the process that you guys went through to ensure that this movie is reverent, as you've mentioned, and it's biblically accurate while still entertaining.
Yeah, I think to understand, I think it would be good to understand like where this all came from, right? Where did this movie idea originate? So our executive producer, Roland Jacks, who is 90 years old and he's just getting started, he, a few years back, he's a lifelong believer and he was meditating on the scriptures and studying the New Testament and writing, basically taking basically taking passages of scripture and putting music to it. And it was this sort of like meditative exploration. And he brought on his friend, Emilio Palame, who's a very talented musician. So the two of them were collaborating on this, right? And it was just like a music project, a side hobby, you know? And during this process, Emilio got really sick. He ended up in the hospital, and it was a time of uncertainty, fear, just like a very serious moment for him, kind of facing your own mortality. And he told me that the whole time he was in the hospital, the verses and like the lyrics that he was working on with Roland, that music was just repeating in his head endlessly for days and days. And bringing him peace. And, you know, when he told me the story, I thought of that verse in Hebrews that says like the word is living and active, you know, and Emilio got to experience this peace through this kind of terrifying experience. And so the first thing he did, he told me when he got out of the hospital, was call Roland and say, we have to find a way to tell this story to as many people as possible. Wow. How do we do that? And through that conversation, Roland was like, what if we made a movie? What better way to reach people, right? So I think knowing where this all, like, that was the foundation that we were working off of, right? Rollins' like careful, lifelong study of scripture. And so when you're building on top of such a strong base, you know, the decisions that we were making creatively, of course, are about cinematography, right? The movie looks great. The wardrobe, the acting, you know, the casting, that's a place to really get creative, to really think outside the box. But when it comes to the actual Bible story, you know, we wanted to remain as accurate as possible. Of course, operating within the limits of budget and time and all these other factors. But that was a priority for us throughout the entire process. We brought on a biblical and historical expert, a scholar who specializes in the New Testament and really gave us a lot of incredible feedback. Everything from, you know, this time of day is actually incorrect. We know from like this translation that it was actually, this happened at this time of day, right? And so then we would go change the schedule and just really tried to remain as accurate as we could. And that experience was great too, because I learned a lot about the historical context in which this story takes place.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, in 47 Days with Jesus is part of a recent surge in biblical storytelling we're seeing in TV and film. We've seen it with The Chosen, Journey to Bethlehem, His Only Son from Angel Studios. What do you think can account for this growing interest in biblical narratives? Because they are all doing so incredibly well with faith audiences and beyond.
So I think that, first of all, you know, as believers, you know, people are excited to see Bible stories told in a new way, right? I think there's that, of course. But I also do think that there's a desire to share the stories that isn't always possible when your only option is to invite someone to church, because someone might not be interested in sitting in a pew, right? So, I mean, there's a theme, actually, like a big core part of our movie. In 47 Days with Jesus, the grandpa character, Papa, and Nana, they tell the story to their kids and their grandkids, right? This is a movie about people telling the Bible story through the generations, you know, sharing it with your kids, sharing it with your family. And so I think collectively, people want to do the same. You might not be able to get a loved one in a pew this Easter, but you might be able to get them into a movie theater, right? You might be able to send them a recommendation for a show on Netflix. And so I think it's really stemming from a place of people have this amazing story that has like transformed them, right? It's had such a big impact on them and they want to share it. And this is just all these movies, these TV shows, they're great. They're so entertaining, but they also are compelling and challenging sometimes and cause you to reflect. And I think that is what people want to share with their loved ones.
Well, essentially, it's a discipleship movie, right? It's teaching the next generation the truths of the gospel right ahead of Easter.
Yeah.
So what do you want to tell the Christian community and beyond to get them to buy tickets to fill these seats in theaters? We need to make our voices heard. 47 Days with Jesus ahead of Easter. What challenge do you want to give the audience?
Well, what I would ask is, how many family Easter movies are there? And wouldn't you want to enjoy a family Easter movie this year, especially because it's coming out during spring break, so kids are off school. But aside from that sales pitch, I really believe that this movie is something that is there's something for everyone. Actually, okay, I'll tell you a story that David Gattel, our co-director, recently told me this, and I think this right here is like the crux of what I hope everyone experiences when watching this movie. So David he had to go in person to pick up something, I think a hard drive from a member of our post-production team. And he went and this crew member was like, I'm not religious. And David was like, oh, okay, that's fine, And this crew member was like, but your movie really impacted me. And he said, I saw myself in your main character. I think his story is my story. And so the fact that someone who isn't coming from a background of faith felt really convicted by our movie, I think that right there is what I hope can happen across, and for anyone who watches this movie. So, I say bring your family. I think there's something to get out of it, whether you have a faith background or not. Bring your friends. I think this is a movie that is really just perfect in time for Easter.
Wonderful. Kristen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.